On the left are products that I worked on that most of them came out in some fashion. Any of those look familiar? We can talk about them later. My last 4 or 5 years at Hasbro went from a hybrid role to a dedicated creative development role, where we went through and worked with the legal and different departments to figure out what Hasbro owned of all these other properties that you now see IDW doing so much with. So we spent a lot of time, what marks do we own, what logos do we own, stuff like that. I started on Transformers. It moved from Rhode Island to Cincinnati in '95, I believe. And Beast Wars was underway. The bat and alligator had been created, and the first wave kind of had been created. The cartoon had not. And the Batman team got bigger, and we were the Transformers Batman team after that. And that was my first touch on Transformers, was Beast Metals 2, stuff like that, where it wasn't my responsibility, but I started on Transformers. And then in earnest, I became the lead designer as of 2000, late 2000, when the guy who had previously had my position decided not to move to Rhode Island. So I had done a lot of that license or relationship things. I was senior in the company at that point, and the relationship with the car was an important one. And so I inherited Transformers because I asked for it. So you won't get anything you never ask for. Well, that's a life lesson. So everything after 2000 I was connected with some fashion, whether it was original creation or leading a team or partnering with video game, comic book, movie, animation, even our own internal teams that do the games and things. So I know some things about the development of Transformers. I wanted to talk about my good friend Yoke-san real quick. If you don't know, he recently retired from Takara Tomy, and I was fortunate to be in Rhode Island when they were having his going away party. So this is a guy who started on the brand back when it was Henshin Cyborg or Henshin Ninja, whatever, and that became Micronauts, and then that became Microman. It's just this weird thing that this guy was a part of for a long, long time, and he was a pleasure to work with. And we should all acknowledge that, it's gonna be a different world going forward without his leadership. Not a bad world, just he's a very kind, creative soul, and he'll be missed. And then today, you can find me on social media under Archer Monster on Instagram and Tumblr and all kinds of places, so please check me out. And in 2018, I went down to Cincinnati and got interviewed for this documentary that's coming out. If you don't know, Netflix is doing I think it's an 8-part series, an hour dedicated to each of the brands from the 80s practically. So I got interviewed for Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Star Wars. They're also doing, I think, Barbie and Lego and Hot Wheels and He-Man. The He-Man guy was right after me. That was a lot of fun. And really, I hang out and draw now. I do some freelance, and I raise my kids, and those are my kids. So that was the benefit of leaving Hasbro for me. So that's an overview of my career and the stuff I've worked on to give you a good indication of what I'm about and what I've been doing.